Coming from the studio behind Batman Arkham Origins is Gotham Knights, a brand new action RPG set within the gritty streets and dimly lit alleyways of Gotham City, but with its own distinct flavor. Gone is Batman, instead replaced by a band of disciples who are taking up the mantle to protect the beleaguered city from a criminal uprising. Everything we've seen so far from WB Games Montreal looks stellar. Their ambition to build meaningful character arcs within a unique vision of Gotham should appease DC fans who are clamoring for a new Batman game. Here's 15 things we can't wait to do once Gotham Knights releases next month. Experience its completely original story. Gotham Knights is an entirely new vision of Gotham City, one without Batman as protector. The setup is familiar, law-breaking and corruption is rampant throughout Gotham, but where Gotham Knights veers off, Batman is dead. In his demise, his understudies band together to keep order. In an entirely new story not tied to any TV or comic book series, we'll step into the shoes of Nightwing, Batgirl, Red Hood, and Robin. And it'll be super interesting to see how the relatively inexperienced Knights prevent Gotham from descending into chaos. Explore the largest ever Gotham City. In an interview with Game Informer, WB Montreal's executive producer Floor Marty claims that Gotham Knights' version of Gotham City is the biggest version of Gotham that's ever been represented in video games. That's quite a bold stance given the sheer scale of Rocksteady's Gotham City and Arkham series. Gotham is a city where crime is fought in shadows, in alleyways, and abandoned warehouses, so here's hoping that WB Montreal have crafted an open world dense with intrigue in addition to its expected locales. Traversal throughout should be thoroughly entertaining though. We already know the Batcycle will be a playable vehicle on the city streets, but each of the four Knights has their approach to traversal. Partake in the villain crime missions. The main antagonists in Gotham Knights campaigns are the mysterious organized crime group, the Court of Owls. But elsewhere, the Knights will also have to tend to villain crime missions, whereby some of Batman's lesser-known foes take the spotlight. We already know Mr. Freeze and Harley Quinn will feature, but in WB Montreal's murky version of Gotham, it'll be interesting to see who else from Batman's back catalog of rogues fit the dark tone. The supporting cast of villains that have yet to be announced might include some of Batman's more nefarious foes such as Professor Pig or the Ventriloquist. Structure-wise, villain crime missions are set to require detective legwork to track down the villain before a mini-boss battle. Encounter random crime events. Gotham Knights' villain crime missions represent meaty side content to sink your teeth into, but the city in Gotham Knights is a teeming ecosystem, a living, breathing environment riddled with on-street tension between order, crime, and citizens of Gotham. Initially, the public are said to be wary of the Knights, but players will be able to sway public's perception to their side by acting on random street crime events. Protecting citizens caught in the crossfire will be the key to convincing citizens the Knights are a positive force. Utilize AR vision. Gotham Knights' crime scene investigation mechanic features AR, or augmented reality, vision, as a tool in which players can scan an environment in search of clues that'll progress their investigation further. It's essentially the Knights' version of Batman's detective vision from the Arkham series. Admittedly, solutions look a little too spoon-fed in the gameplay release so far, so here's hoping the challenge of obtaining clues to solve crimes will ramp up as the game progresses. Spend time in the Belfry. Not only is Batman gone in Gotham Knights, but so is the Batcave. In its place is the Belfry. As established in comic book lore, the Belfry was originally a secret facility inside the old Wayne Tower where Batman trained his protégés. The tower has now been repurposed as a central hub for the Knights after the Batcave is presumably destroyed. During daytime, the Belfry will operate as a location in which players prepare for the night of crime fighting ahead. Switching between characters, equipment loadouts, crafting items, and upgrading gear and suits are all activities players will reportedly partake in as they wait for dusk. Play in co-op mode. Gotham Knights will ship with the ability for players to seamlessly drop into their friends' campaigns, enabling two-player online co-op. In fact, WB Montreal is touting this as an integral gameplay mechanic, driving a lot of focus behind the game's mission structure and combat design. Of course, the entire campaign is completable in single player, but the ability to drop in as Robin while someone else is playing as Red Hood To harness each of their individual abilities to complete a mission? That sounds fantastic. Learn each character's backstory. The 4 playable knights are Batgirl, Red Hood, Robin, and Nightwing, and whilst each come equipped with unique traits and individual abilities, there's also an interesting backstory tied to each. Their histories, how they tie into Batman lore and comic book canon, will be explored in detail throughout the Gotham Knights story, adding emotional weight to these already substantial characters. Master Red Hood's brawling fight style. Red Hood has trained his entire life to reach the peak of human strength, and whilst his sketchy backstory at one time saw him fighting against the Batman family, he's now well and truly on the good side, even adopting Batman's non-lethal force policy. He's proficient in a raft of hand-to-hand combat techniques, and whilst he's handy with traditional and high-tech weaponry, it's his brawling fighting style which promises the most satisfaction when taking down Gotham's underlings. Harness Robin's stealth. Robin is the youngest member of the Knights, but he's also super smart and a logical thinker too, meaning he'll adept in Gotham Knights, especially in the more stately detective sequences. Robin is also highly skilled in the art of stealth, with his ability to lurk within the shadows taken straight out of the Batman playbook, hinting at a more thoughtful, measured approach to mission completion. Perform acrobatics as Nightwing. The charismatic, optimistic bandleader Nightwing grew up in the unorthodox environment of a family circus, which clearly explains his love of acrobatics. Watch his character trailer and you'll see he's forever performing flips as an act of misdirection that'll unsettle opponents. His upbringing means he values close human connection. But it's his acrobatic fighting style and mastery of dual-wielded eskrima sticks that's the primary draw for playing as Nightwing. Mix melee combat with gadgetry as Batgirl. Like Batman, Batgirl is a master in a variety of technical fighting disciplines. From kickboxing to Brazilian martial art capoeira and close combat jiu-jitsu, Batgirl has a raft of fighting capability when tackling any of Gotham's criminals. She's also a technical wizard, with her adaptness extending to coding computers and hacking technological systems to dig for information. Learn all there is to know about each character's suits. Exploring Gotham's dimly lit alleyways yields collectible blueprints, which can then be taken back to the Belfry to craft various types of gear and suits. Each knight will reportedly have 11 different suits with which to collect and customize too. And, excitingly, it isn't just colorways that can be personalized. No, each suit comes equipped with specific stats and upgrades, with game director Jeff Eleanor stating in an interview that each suit functions more as a silhouette, which the players can transplant their individual personality and playstyles to. Customize each character's skill tree. Atypical of action RPG games, the playable characters in Gotham Knights do not start out as weaklings. They already possess immense strength and capability, which makes sense as they're all acolytes of Batman's training program prior to his death. Instead, the Knights will find their own unique ways to build strength as the game's campaign progresses, maturing from vigilantes already in possession of the basic tools to fight crime, to characters exhibiting their own brand of vigilante justice. Fight boss battles. We already know Mr. Freeze and Harley Quinn will appear in some capacity during Gotham Knights storyline, and it's going to be fantastic to attempt then reattempt each of these games' bosses' battles as each of the 4 knights, and in varying combinations too. Did you know that we at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.